Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nurian Safitri. You can call me Lia or Fitri. I am student of English Education Department 2018 in State Islamic University of Alauddin Makassar. So, in this video, I will explain about the methodology of discourse analysis for English language. So, in uh, in this, I will explain about the step or procedure to uh, to do discourse analysis. Okay. Uh, According to Benraud and Royal HGM, and Royal HGM 2004, based on Corder. Analysis refers to the process of identifying, classifying, and explaining. Therefore, this section adapts the activities underlying the analysis as proposed by experts into four systematic steps, namely collecting, identifying, classifying, and explaining. Four steps can be used in conducting discourse analysis as an integral part of academic research to find out the result for the development of English teaching learning outcomes. So, the first is collection phase. This phase refers to the process of collecting and selecting materials on target discourse, both verbal and written discourse, to be analyzed for the sake of getting the necessary and relevant information about the use of language in context. Ingredients in this context refer to any idea or information available in the use of language discourse, which will be analyzed. If the focus of the analysis is the verbal discourse, the material must be the specification derived from interactional, transactional, or the performance of the discourse speaking. Conversely, if the focus of the discourse is written, the material must be in the form of text obtained from writing such as personal, business, or academic writing. Because discourse analysis was carried out for the purpose of teaching and learning English, that the material chosen to be analyzed must be able to meet the learning objectives of English-specific skills based on the needs of students. In this case, there are two important conditions that can be considered. Like an account, namely the suitability of the material with the needs of student and the authenticity of the select material. Okay, the first is the suitability of the materials to learner needs to find out the needs of student. There are several steps to do. First is analyze the syllabus. In this section, the teacher will review a syllabus by asking students to consider the skill and knowledge of the content they need for later analytical teacher to achieve the result of the course. And the teacher can also invite students to be given questions about discourse analysis. The second is the free write. The teacher can ask students to write about topics that will provide insight into their attitude, hope, and motivation for the course, according to McKechnie and Svinicki. The teacher can validate the needs of students with shorthand notes on their paper. This comment can also be collected and present to the class to encourage students to appreciate various responses and varying perspectives present in the classroom. This activity provides an opening for teachers to comment on what the purpose of the possibility will be fulfilled or not fulfilled during the learning period. Okay, the next is develop group vision. In the teacher part, can investigate the needs of students by asking students individually to make a positive list and negative experience in their previous course or things they feel. The next is survey. In this section, it is very useful for building survey to explore student learning preference, such as learning style, their previous experience, and their motivation to study subject matter. Okay, the next is identify lesson learned. Students often enjoy reading and responding to tips collected from former students about what most challenging content and the most effective learning strategies. It can also help in overcoming the problem of social and affective domains, which otherwise may hamper learning. Okay, the next step to do in student is publicly, publicly record and synthesize. This technique can be applied in situations where groups or individuals share goals and expectations. When the teacher or facilitator collects responses, they have the opportunity to rearrange and classify the learning requirements into a broad category. Okay, the next is pre-assessment. At any time during the course or workshop, the teacher or facilitator can pre-assess the beginning of the new learning segment to determine whether participants are ready to cognitive, social, affective, or physical. This assessment can be done in a class or as a homework and can be completed individually or team. After gathering information about the needs of students, the teacher must use required information as a basis for formulating learning goals and fulfill learning objectives to meet the learning needs of students. Okay, uh, two is the authenticity of selected material to understand the concept. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. To understand the concept of authenticity in choosing materials, we need to understand first about authentic material. There are several expert opinions that define about authentic material. The first authentic material put forward by the Marrow argued that authentic material refers to a stretch of real language produced by a real speaker or author for a real audience and designed to carry message from several types. In addition, Harmer cited authentic text, both written or pronounced, is a design for native speaker. They are original text design, not for language student, but for the speaker in a questions. According to Gebhardt, authentic material can be categorized into three classifications, namely, first, authentic listening material, namely DVDs, quiz shows, cartoons, new clips, comedy show, films, soap operas, short stories, and novels recorded with audio, radio advertising, songs, documentaries, and sales promotion. Okay, next is original visual materials. There are slide photos, paintings, chilled artwork, stick image, road signs without words, silhouettes, image from magazine, postcard image, illustrate books without illustrate books without words, stems and extras. And the next, the tier is original mold material, like newspaper articles, film advertising, astrological columns, sports reports, obituary columns, uh, suggestion columns, lyric for songs, restaurant menus, produce signs, cereal boxes, candy wrap, tourist information brochures, university catalogs, telephone books, map, TV guide, comic books, greeting cards, shopping coupons. There are several stages that must be done by the teacher to make authentic material. Namely, the first is identification phase. In this step, identification refers to the process of recognition and naming the contents of the discourse, such as forms, functions, structure, and other things that informations are relevant about the language used by native speakers of English in their actual social life interactions. At this stage, if the teacher um, at this stage, if the teacher is interested in conducting discourse analysis of oral language, especially in ordinary conversation or interactional speaking discourse, so that the contents of the discourse are important to be recognized, namely discourse pattern, discourse exchange, discourse function, as well as the internal structure of the discourse. In addition, if the teacher is interested in analyzing the discourse about written language, so that the content discourse to be recognizable and named is a grammatical cohesive device, lexical cohesion, and the text pattern used in written language. Well, in analyzing oral discourse, at this identification stage, there are several things to do. First, analyze the transcription, where it displays conversation from native speakers. Second, identify discourse exchange, motion, and discourse function, internal discourse structures. At this stage, the teacher will identify the conversation, which to identify the exchange of discourse. The discourse is marked with a slash to show data boundaries, and with lines double tilting to show the discourse structure. Okay, the second is the explanation stage. At this stage, it refers to the process of making clear analysis discourse by describing the relevant culture components in the discourse, both oral and written. To get an explanation, the teacher must do two ways. The first, find information on the internet to disclose a cultural description of a certain expression used by native speakers of English language in discourse. And the second, interviewing native English speakers to get an explanation of the cultural aspect used by speakers in certain expression of discourse. Okay, the last is classification stage. After identifying and explaining the result of certain discourse analysis, the next stage is the classification stage. This phase refers to the process of placing the result of discourse analysis that has been identified into some information in certain categories so that it is easier to understand it. In the result of analysis, including a result that have been identified and explained from a cultural point of view. It can help the teacher recognize every component of the discourse, which if the teacher will use the information to set up teaching materials. Then they will easily find the appropriate information they need.